Texas, a new Democratic Party. We're bringing a knife to a knife fight, and we are going to fight fire with fire.
Tonight, high-profile Democrats across the country, including California Governor Gavin Newsom, are promising they will fight a GOP effort to shift the balance of power in Congress. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Texas Democrats are pledging to stay away from their home state as long as it takes to avoid a vote on new congressional maps that benefit Republicans. While at the same time, California Democrats right now are working on a counter to that plan by Texas Republicans. KTVU political reporter Greg Lee has the latest tonight on this growing political battle.
The House stands adjourned.
The Texas House quickly adjourned Tuesday after failing to reach quorum for a second day in a row. Most Democrats remain out of state in protest of a plan to redraw the state's congressional maps to help Republicans pick up 5 seats.
There's others that are saying and warning us that they're going to arrest us or make us pay fines. I'll pay that price for America.
Those Texas Democrats fanned out across blue states like Illinois and New York despite civil arrest warrants for their return. The mid-decade redistricting is rare and was pushed by President Trump ahead of the midterms. He doubled down on CNBC.
We have an opportunity in Texas to pick up 5 seats. We have a really good governor, and we have good people in Texas. And I won Texas. I got the highest vote in the history of Texas, as you probably know. And we are entitled to 5 more seats.
Things have changed. Facts have changed. So we must change. I think it's in the spirit of, Lincoln's infamous second inaugural. We have to disenthrall ourselves so we can save this country.
Governor Newsom countering Texas with a plan for California to draw its own new lines to benefit Democrats and put it before voters in a special election. The plan would only be triggered if Texas moves forward.
For Texas lawmakers, the only way to win is to not play the game.
This is a straight political power move by both parties, and I think the whole thing's a mistake.
I spoke to 2 redistricting experts, one who works with Democrats and one with Republicans, both who support the value of California's independent redistricting commission approved by voters in 2008 and worry about the impact of this fight.
If you can do an exception this time for a mid-decade redistricting, well, why not do it again in 2028 or, again? I mean, you can do that over and over again.
I believe you can follow traditional redistricting criteria. You can follow the explicit commission criteria in terms of the way that maps are drawn. You can follow the Voting Rights Act, and you could definitely still pick up maybe 4 or 5 seats.
Republicans currently hold 9 House seats in California. The experts fear the redistricting fight could spill over into other states. And for now, neither Texas or California is backing down.
Democrats are freaking out about it, engaging in rhetoric, but I don't think they have the capability of actually living up to it and doing anything about it. Texas will continue to fight for what is right.
Whatever they are doing will be neutered here in the state of California. And they will pay that price. And we believe public opinion is with our approach.
Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
4 people are dead tonight after a medical transport plane crashed in northeast Arizona. That plane went down this afternoon near Chinle Airport in Apache County. Navajo police say the crew was headed to pick up a patient at a hospital when the crash happened. The victims have not been identified. That plane was owned by a company called CSI Aviation out of Albuquerque. Tonight, the NTSB is investigating the cause of that crash. In Southern California, a procession was held today to pay tribute to one of 3 LA County Sheriff's deputies killed in a grenade explosion. Friends and loved ones gathered in Yorba Linda in Orange County to honor the life of Detective William Osborne. The veteran Sheriff's Department bomb technician is survived by his wife, 6 children, and 1 grandson.
One of the most humble people I know.
Beyond the uniform and beyond the badge, he was mine. He was my partner. My best friend, my safe place, and my whole world, my everything.
Osborne and 2 other deputies died in that grenade blast at a sheriff's training facility in East LA last month. The grenade was thought to be inert. Services for Detective Joshua Kelly Eklund are planned for this Thursday. Another service for Detective Victor Lemus is set for next week. Well, today, Montana Governor Greg Gianforte signed an executive order that will free up more resources to search for a suspected mass shooter in that state. Investigators have been searching for Michael Brown since Friday's shooting at a bar outside Butte that left 4 people dead. Investigators are focusing their search in a 22 square mile area southwest of the small town of Anaconda.
Working alongside these folks standing beside me, all partners will continue the pursuit of this criminal. Once found, I have no doubt that the Montana Department of Justice will prosecute this killer to the full extent of the law to bring justice to those grieving the loss of a loved one.
And authorities say anyone who spots Brown or knows his whereabouts is asked to put in a call to 911 right away. A man charged in the murders of 3 women in the Portland area is now facing a 4th murder charge. A grand jury indicted Jesse Calhoun in the death of 22-year-old Kristen Smith in 2022. Her mother said today she is overwhelmed with emotion over this indictment. The bodies of the 3 other women were found over several months beginning in early 2023. Calhoun was arrested in June of 2023 and remains in custody. His trial is expected to get underway in 2027. Tonight, crews have contained a massive fire at a construction site in the Las Vegas Valley. This fire started this morning at a 3-story apartment complex that's under construction in North Las Vegas. One construction worker was injured after jumping from a 2nd floor. His injuries are considered life-threatening. One firefighter was also hospitalized for heat-related illness. Crews right now are checking for damage in neighboring buildings because of the extreme heat from this fire. What started the fire remains unclear tonight. Well, from the coast to the mountains, crews across California are working to control several wildfires tonight. One of them, the Gold Fire, has now grown to nearly 1,000 acres in the mountains near Big Bear Lake. Images posted online show some of what firefighters are facing on the front lines of this fire. A campground as well as a climbing area have been evacuated. Tonight, the fire is 5% contained and the cause is under investigation. Satellites are picking up images of California's largest wildfire. The Gifford Fire has burned more than 83,000 acres of rugged terrain since Friday. It's burning along California's central coast in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo counties. 3 people have been injured here, and containment now stands at 9%. As Fox's Jeff Paul reports tonight, the cause of this fire is also under investigation.
Dry and extreme heat creating the perfect storm of fire conditions in Central California.
We know that how big this fire is, that it will create its own weather pattern.
The Gifford Fire exploding in size over the weekend, burning in the Los Padres National Forest. Multiple people have been injured, and now officials are issuing evacuation orders with hundreds of structures in the fire's path.
Low humidity, high temperatures, wind influence in alignment with drainages that just allows for a perfect mixture that creates extreme fire behavior.
Nearly 2,000 firefighters along with helicopters and air tankers are working to stop the flames. But thick brush and rugged terrain are creating dangerous conditions for crews.
The fire is taking every opportunity to align itself with topography, particularly where you have light flashy fields and grassy slopes.
And there will be little relief in the forecast with high temps and strong winds expected later this week. In Los Angeles, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
Tonight, several fires are affecting air quality all across the country. As the Bear Gulch fire rips through the Puget Sound region of Washington, doctors are warning about the health risks that come with smoke exposure. Outdoor workers, those with underlying health conditions, and the young and the elderly are at increased risk. Mild symptoms can include headaches, irritated eyes, congestion, and a sore throat or cough. Doctors say people should head to the ER if they experience shortness of breath, wheezing, or chest pain. They say it's important to stay prepared.
Knowing how and where to check your air quality, stocking up on supplies such as non-perishable goods and medications in case you need to stay indoors.
And the doctor that we spoke with says people can help protect themselves by shutting their doors and windows and wearing an N95 mask whenever they're outside.
The 45th day of summer. We are halfway through our summer season and it's starting to feel like it. We'll show you the hottest spots with your West Coast Wrap forecast.
And then this recruitment letter came out. We thought it was classless, the way that ICE decided to go about it.
Harsh words for ICE from law enforcement in Utah. Coming up tonight, sheriff's departments are complaining that ICE is poaching their manpower. Plus, see how inmates here in the West are hoping to get attention for their art. In Washington, an office used by ICE was vandalized over this past weekend. It happened Saturday in Yakima. The Department of Homeland Security posted on X today saying that a person threw a rock through a window at that building. There was also a small fire that was set behind the building. No one was injured, and police are investigating still tonight. Well, California's largest legal cannabis grower is responding now to last month's ICE raids at its farms in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties. Glass House Brands says that 9 of the 360 people detained during that raid were employees. They say the rest, including any minors, were contractors hired through a farm labor company. Glass House Brands says it's cut ties with that contractor. No charges have been filed against the company. One farm worker did die after falling from a greenhouse roof in the middle of those raids. Well, tonight the Trump administration is out with a new list of what it calls sanctuary jurisdictions. The western states on that list include Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, and Colorado. While the entire state of New Mexico is not listed as a sanctuary state, the city of Albuquerque is. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the Justice Department will, quote, continue bringing litigation against sanctuary jurisdictions and work closely with the Department of Homeland Security to eradicate these harmful policies around the country. Now, there is no clear definition of sanctuary jurisdictions. The term generally is applied to state and local governments that limit their cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Tonight, one Utah sheriff is calling ICE's efforts to recruit his deputies classless. Fox 13's Jeffrey Tom spoke with sheriffs in that state who say their deputies are being lured away by large signing bonuses.
In many lines of work, top talent is always at risk of being lured away by a competitor. Law enforcement is no exception.
State agencies, other counties, city police, we've competed for staff.
Just last month, I reported on the struggles facing Juab County Sheriff Doug Anderson.
Since I became the sheriff, we've lost 26 patrol deputies. 21 of those have gone to other law enforcement agencies.
And now?
And then this recruitment letter came out. We thought it was classless, the way that ICE decided to go about it.
Utah Sheriff's Association President Tracy Glover says deputies around the state have been receiving these emails from officials in Washington offering $50,000 signing bonuses.
The timing of it's just unfortunate because we were working on a path of better collaboration, coordination with ICE.
A relationship that Glover says had been tenuous for years was mending through the appointment of a new local ICE field officer. It led several counties to enter 287G agreements on immigration enforcement. But it's now those same departments which he says are being targeted.
For sheriffs to enter into agreements with ICE to help them do their job and then get circled back with a memo that tries to recruit was offensive. There's no question.
Utah County Commissioners just approved that agreement 3 weeks ago.
You know, I was angry but not surprised.
Locals like Sarah McConkey, who spoke out against the changes.
Law enforcement is doing a really good job keeping my neighborhood, my kids safe.
Are now left to wonder what may happen if their local officers leave for these federal opportunities.
You know, they could rehire and get to where they need to be, but if there's a temporary lag, that could have real safety consequences for all people in the county.
A DHS spokesperson tells us they are recruiting 287G partners who have already been trained and have valuable local law enforcement experience, but did not answer questions about how that may impact their relationships with these local offices. With these 287G agreements being new to Utah, Sheriff Glover says he doesn't expect a huge impact here locally, but says it is a problem that needs to be addressed. In West Valley City, Jeremy Toms, Fox 13 News, Utah.
The woman accused of selling actor Matthew Perry the dose of ketamine that killed him will face trial next month. Jasveen Sanya is facing 5 counts of ketamine distribution, including 1 resulting in death. Prosecutors say she is known as the Ketamine Queen and presented herself as a celebrity drug dealer with high-quality goods. Today, a judge set Sonia's trial date for September 23rd. If convicted of all the charges, she would face a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years in prison. Let's turn now and talk about our weather here in the West. And people in some parts of Arizona are being warned to prepare for several days of dangerously hot weather. This is a live look at downtown Phoenix tonight, where the sun is thankfully setting tonight. An extreme heat warning is going to run through this Friday night, though. Let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez, who is tracking the soaring temperatures in Arizona. Roberta,
Alex,
even when the sun goes down, it's still quite hot.
Yeah, did you notice there was nobody out and about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I called my girlfriend. She lives in Scottsdale, just right outside of Phoenix. And I said, Naomi, how are you guys? You guys okay? You coping well with the heat? She said, what heat? We're indoors. We don't go outside when it's this ridiculously hot. All right. Our fire danger forecast, where you see the shades of yellow and orange and red. That's where we had the hot temperatures today. I'm talking 111 in Thermal, 112 in Borrego Springs, and 115 degrees right over here, pretty much right there. And that was in Ocatella Wells, right around the Imperial County line. So what's in the forecast now is in the morning hours, okay, things cool down, but more of the same heat will be generated. And this is why the National Weather Service has issued an extreme heat warning for portions of Texas, backing through the state of California and Nevada, pretty much the desert southwest of California, 112 to 116, all the way through Friday. This is a long, hot week. Today's high temperature in the Phoenix area, 113 degrees. You need some relief in Arizona, then you want to head right there to Los Angeles. This is Santa Monica. The high temperature actually did pop up. They reported it late today. 82 degrees in Los Angeles. Along the seashore, it was 78 degrees. Another great spot to cool down, San Francisco. The average high 66, and today topped off at 65. That's a pretty good day in the summertime in the city by the bay. Now Seattle, 78 degrees, your average high 79 degrees. And see the milky sky there? It's now starting to rain. It's currently 74 degrees in Seattle, 81 in Portland. How about 85 degrees in Reno? We have cooled to 102 in Vegas. And as the sun sets, it's 110 degrees in Phoenix. Nearly 90 at this hour in Salt Lake City. So this is an area of low pressure going to bring some rain for the next couple of days in throughout the Seattle area. Otherwise, in the state of California, absolutely nothing going on. Few high clouds skirting in and out in the Mile High City. And again, heat through Friday in the Phoenix area. So this area of high pressure, it's a huge dome, and it's buttoned up against the area of high pressure that is now encompassing the state of California. We're forecasting high temperatures above average anywhere from Phoenix through the Los Angeles basin all the way into San Francisco. Again, keep in mind, during the summertime, the average high temperature this time of the year in San Francisco is 66, and we have temperatures slightly below normal in the Pacific Northwest, while we are above average in the city of Denver. So, Alex, we are now, 45 days into summer with 48 more days to go before fall officially arrives.
All right, the halfway point just about. Roberta, thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, President Trump has a new task force that will play a major role in helping Los Angeles get ready for the Olympic Games. Tonight, how it will influence the city as it gets ready to host the 2028 Games. Also, see how inmates are showing off their art at a prison known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies.
We're all blown away when you think about the prisoners, where they are, and the materials they have to be able to work with, and then see what they've created is stunning.
President Trump has narrowed down his list of potential candidates to lead the Federal Reserve. In an interview with CNBC, he mentioned National Economic Council President Kevin Hassett and former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh as possible Fed chairs. The president did not name the other two candidates he might be considering, but he has ruled out Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Trump has been critical of current Fed Chair Jerome Powell, even threatening to fire him at one point, saying the Fed should be cutting interest rates. Powell's term expires in May. Stocks were lower on Wall Street today after a report on U.S. service industry activity came in weaker than expected. The Dow was down close to 62 points. The Nasdaq lost 137 points, and the S&P 500 dipped by more than 30 points. President Trump has signed an executive order to set up a federal task force for the Summer Olympic Games in Los Angeles. The Games will take place starting in July of 2028. It will be the first time the U.S. has hosted the Olympics since the Winter Games in Salt Lake City, Utah, back in 2002. President Trump says the task force will ensure the Games are, quote, safe, seamless, and historically successful.
America is a nation of champions, and in July 2028, we'll show the world what America does best, and that's win. We're winning like we have never won before.
The task force will coordinate security and planning for the Games and streamline visa processing and credentialing for athletes and coaches. Finally, tonight, some inmates at a prison that's known as the Alcatraz of the Rockies want you to take notice of their art. Fox 21's Aaron Bowling spoke with organizers of their upcoming art show.
It's very different. I've taught for 50 years. I've taught art, and I've taught in a lot of settings, but never in one like this. We're in the gymnasium, and there are 5 cells that have been set up there, and the men are brought in one at a time and put into a cell, and we teach 5 men in that arena.
Those classes resulting in a prisoner art show and sale with 500 pieces made by 50 artists.
They're in isolation 22 to 23 hours a day. There's waiting lists for all the classes that we have, and the classes are part of the First Step Act, so they're approved, and then they earn certain rewards, whether or not they have a release date or not.
Led by volunteer Joanne Souther and an ADX chaplain, the classes are called Houses of Healing and Interfaith Cooperation.
Many of them are part of a really strong belief system. So we have maybe one Catholic, you could have one that is Native American, you could have a man from the Aryan Brotherhood, you could have a man that practices Islam, and they have to learn how to cooperate on our cooperative project.
Although you won't find names on the art, she says participants are screened before taking the class.
They learn the foundations of art and then how to grow in those areas and become masterful at the medium that they use, and then also how to promote and sell their art.
About 400 people came to the exhibit's opening night on Friday, with the red dots signifying a purchase and a jar full of notes for the prisoners with kind words about specific pieces.
They were all blown away. They couldn't believe the art. When you think about the prisoners, where they are, and the materials they have to be able to work with, and then see what they've created is stunning.
And that was Fox 21's Aaron Bowling reporting tonight. Those art pieces are priced between $500 and $300. Half of the proceeds go to the inmate artists. The other half supports Fremont Center for the Arts. And that does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. As always, have a great rest of your night.